Hello, my name is Laura Carmona, and this presentation will be on English learners. It is for the University of Texas RGV, Dr. Isela Almaguer, RLIT 6330. The presentation outline will consist of an introduction, a research topic explained, citations from the research, strategies, recommendations, and the conclusion. The introduction. Emerging bilinguals are the most rapidly growing group of students across the country. Teacher shortages, lack of funding, and influx of migrant students have had a huge impact on the educational supports that are provided to English learners. Teachers have had to learn and implement strategies and classroom activities that will help the English learners succeed academically. The research topic explained. I chose this research topic because I wanted to learn about the background of um, ESL and how laws came to be that helped these particular students. Um, also, in my 30 some years of teaching, I was able to um, present some strategies and classroom activities that I use in my classroom. The significant cases that affected education for the English learner were Plyer versus Doe, which basically guaranteed that all students, regardless of immigration status, were did have the right for a free and appropriate education. One of the next rulings that really played against the ESL learners was in the 1800s, the U.S. Supreme Court issued the now infamous decision that separate but equal public facilities were constitutional, which basically meant that ESLs could be taught on a different campus away from their English speaking peers, and it was okay, it was constitutional. They were not being denied their rights, which were granted to them by Plyler versus Doe. Then in 1947, we had Menendez versus the Westminster School District. This basically kind of overruled the 1986 U.S. Supreme Court decision. It basically stated that it was not beneficial for English language learners to be taught at a different site, that this was not indicative of them learning the English language. This case helped set the foundation for Brown versus Board of Education. Then in 1974 was a huge win for English learners. Um, this was Lau versus Nichols, and basically this established the Lau remedies. Um, basically, this set forth the identification and evaluation of ELL students. It determined the appropriate educational needs of the student in order for them to succeed. It decided when ELL students were ready for mainstream instruction and determined that teachers needed to have professional standards in order to work with ESL students. Then we had a huge one in Texas. This court ruled that schools need to create a plan to implement language programs that would help Mexican American students learn English, adjust to American culture, and also help English speaking students learn Spanish. This one is counterindicative to what I've learned in this class because rather than have Mexican Americans learn the American culture, we're seeing the flip side of that now in that where we as teachers have to learn about their culture and be able to be culturally sensitive to where they come and what they bring to the classroom. Some of the strategies in the classroom that would help the English language learner are cultivating positive relationships, embracing their culture, listening to their stories from home, their funds of knowledge, allowing for translanguaging. One of the things that I learned this year in my classroom was to have a text-rich environment. Basically, have anchor charts, word walls, um, gallery walks, things that would help students be more familiar with everything that was going on in the content area. Word walls. Word walls are a huge one because you can actually put the word in English and in Spanish, and it could pertain specifically to a content area. And then we have cooperative groups. Cooperative groups facilitate oracy In the small group that the students are in, it incorporates reading, writing, speaking, and listening, which are areas that are taught that are assessed in the TELPAS test. Classroom activities to promote literacy for the English learner. Again, cooperative grouping. Cooperative groups work to facilitate oral literacy, peer assistance, and reading and writing. The teacher can work with any group depending on the need. Problem solving and discussion should be evident in cooperative group work. Then we have readers theater, which I'm not a big fan of, but I know that it's used in the lower levels. Readers theater allows for students to perform a short story. Readers theater promotes reading, oral presentation, and cooperative group work. Then we have station rotations, which is huge on my campus. Station rotations can be done in cooperative groups. A variety of content skills can be covered during these rotations, and rotations facilitate oral literacy, peer assistance, reading, and writing. In conclusion, although the education of English language learners has come a long way since the 1800s, it still has a great deal of growing to do. With a constant flow of immigrant children from around the world, funding needs to be increased to provide these students with a better educational experience in American schools, an experience that will allow for social and employment advancement in this ever-changing global world.